When it comes to helping our children with their homework, the mere mention of the word grammar can cause many of us to turn cold with fear, and I've been an editor. But grammar, punctuation and spelling will take a prominent role throughout your child's education. Did you know that one of the best ways you can help your child with their grammar and their writing is to talk and read together? The evidence for doing so is overwhelming, and talking together can fit into the busiest of schedules and take place anywhere. Children don't have to write sentences down to learn how to join words, phrases and clauses together. They can also learn this through their speech. When your child first started to talk, they will have begun using individual words such as milk or bear. Gradually, your child will have added more words to create short phrases that communicated more information: warm milk, big bear, and so on. Put simply, grammar is important because by selecting the right types of words and putting them together in a particular way, we're able to communicate what we mean effectively. In grammar, there are many different types of words all doing different jobs. Let's take the word cat. On its own, it's not doing anything more than naming an object. But if we start to add words around cat, we can give more information about what the cat looks like and what it's doing. For example, the black cat. The black cat in a hat. The black cat and the black cat in a hat are both phrases. They're giving us more information about the cat. Phrases are used to communicate more information about something. Sorting activities are a great way to practice phrases. If you look at these dinosaurs, what sort of phrase could you... What about this one?
That one has a long neck.
Okay, so do you want to pick up a long-necked dinosaur for me? Brilliant. And pop him here, near the edge. And then do you want to put another long-necked dinosaur? So that's a really nice phrase, a long-necked dinosaur. Now, can you think of something else that some of the other dinosaurs have got?
This one's got bumps.
Bumps.
And that one's got bumps.
Bumps and spikes. When children learn about phrases, they will also be taught about clauses. A clause is a phrase that contains a verb and can tell us about what is happening, how we're feeling, what happened in the past, or what we'd like to happen. We're all familiar with verbs such as run, jump, and play being clear action words. But helping words such as is, was, can, might, and did, for example, are also verbs. If we go back to our phrase about the black cat, we can add a verb to create a clause. The black cat was wearing a hat. Playing with your child is a great time to practice creating clauses.
This dinosaur is poisoning this dinosaur.
This dinosaur is poisoning this dinosaur, is poisoning that dinosaur.
Yeah.
What about this dinosaur?
This dinosaur is flying away from its neck.
This dinosaur is flying away from the long-necked dinosaur. Is flying to his nest. So, we've looked at joining words to create phrases and clauses, but what about sentences? Some clauses can stand alone to form a sentence. This is known as a single clause sentence. The clause we just created about the black cat makes sense on its own, so it is a single clause sentence. The black cat was wearing a hat is a single clause sentence. But it's also possible to join clauses to create sentences. These are known as multi-clause sentences. Joining clauses together in a sentence means we can add more information to it. The black cat was wearing a hat and chasing a mouse. The black cat was wearing a hat and chasing a mouse. Here, I've added another clause to the first clause to show that the cat was chasing a mouse. We use conjunctions to join clauses together. A conjunction is a word that can be used to join words and phrases together and to introduce a clause. Examples of conjunctions include as, because, when, and, while, before.
This dinosaur is flying because it needs to get to its nest.
So this dinosaur is flying to its nest. Is he flying away from the long-necked dinosaur?
No, he's flying away from this one.
So let's look at the example we started with cat. Here we started with a word, cat. Then we created a phrase by adding the word black. We then extended the phrase and communicated more information. This then became a clause when we added the verb was wearing. This clause makes sense on its own, and by adding a full stop, it also becomes a sentence. We then added another clause using the conjunction and to make a multi-clause sentence. The black cat was wearing a hat and chasing a mouse. A fun activity you could do with your child to practice joining clauses would be to use a story map to retell a traditional tale. Initially, you are likely to find that she or he uses a single clause sentence, such as, "The gingerbread man ran down the road." Ask your child to add another clause to add more information to the sentence. For example, "The gingerbread man ran down the road as fast as his legs could carry him," or "The gingerbread man felt frightened as he ran down the road." Can you tell me what's happening here?
That gingerbread man got out of the window.
The gingerbread man got out of the window. Then what happened?
And a cat tried to chase him.
So, the cat tried to chase the gingerbread man. Then what happened?
Then a girl tried to teach the cat to eat the gingerbread man.
That's brilliant. This could lead on to lots more discussion about the traditional tale, or perhaps to reading and discussing another tale. As well as practicing grammar through playing with toys and reading, there are also plenty of opportunities to practice grammar as you go about your day. One final thing I'd recommend when supporting your child's language is not to correct them overtly when they make a mistake, however tempting it is. The best support is leading by example. So I find a way of repeating the sentence my son may say incorrectly back to him. A classic example might be when Albie muddles his tenses. For example, if Albie says, "Mummy, I wrote a story at school today," I might reply, "Wow, Albie, you wrote a story. I bet you wrote an exciting story. What did you write about?" If you need help, always ask your child's teacher or use the internet. You'd be amazed at how much practical support you can find. It sounds obvious, but do be choosy about where you draw advice from. The Oxford Owl website uses the latest tips and advice from experts across a wide field of subjects in primary school and at home.